Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being awake TV. Today we have our first guest, Christine Day. She's a Pleiadian Ambassador and she's an amazing person for us to help our ascension. Hi Christine, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Erica. It's great to be on your show.
Maybe some people don't know about you. Just in case, please introduce yourself and tell us about who you are.
Okay, so I'm Christine Day, and I had an awakening with the Pleiadians about 24 years ago. Just before that time, it was like I didn't believe in aliens or spaceships, and I was out walking in nature and turned a corner, and there was this amazing Pleiadian ship, huge ship, out in this open meadow with the Pleiadians coming towards me. And I think I would have run if I could at that moment, but they had actually grabbed my consciousness and were reminding me of my mission here on the planet. I still feel emotional around that time because it was profound. They were reminding me of my Pleiadian family, that I was Pleiadian, that I was to act as a bridge between humanity and the Pleiadians, for them to be able to come and support planet Earth at this time, in this time of our transition. So it was a very profound, life-changing event where I don't even remember getting home that day. And when I woke up, it was like there were these Pleiadians all around me and this light pouring through me. And I was actually bedridden for 2 months at that time, while I fully integrated this aspect of my own Pleiadian nature into the cells of this physical body. So, I'm having a human experience here on the earth plane, of course, but I also am fully aligned and awakened to my Pleiadian aspect, which is a higher frequency vibration. The Pleiadians come from a fifth dimensional space of unconditional love, and that they have evolved to that. And so I'm carrying that awakened state of my Pleiadian aspect, and from that moment that I fully embodied that, and it took the 2 months for it to fully anchor through me, my work in the world activated, and I've been traveling internationally, bringing the Pleiadian initiations and messages from the Pleiadians, because, they are living an incarnation at this time. People think maybe they're in spirit form, but they're not. Their mission in this incarnation is to support us here on planet Earth, to evolve and understand this time, and to help support us in this next step of our transitional phase of Earth itself. And the fact is, people say, well, what's in it for the Pleiadians? What are they doing this for? And the fact is that they are, we are part of this resonant universe. Planet Earth is part of a resonant universe, a universal consciousness, and the Pleiades, which is the star system of the seven sisters, where they come from, the Pleiadians, they are part of this resonant universe also. So there are many life force groups in the universe right now supporting Earth. And the Pleiadians are part of a universal team to support in our awakening. Because as we return to our awakened state, planet Earth completes and regroups into that universal consciousness, and the whole universe transforms. And we are the last planet to work with telepathic communion and to be in this third dimensional separation. So the role is for us to return and come into this awakening, and for the whole universe to come into another level of consciousness. So that's why all eyes are on planet Earth right now. And what I love about the Pleiadians is that they bring really an understanding to us of why we're here, what we're to do, and how to take our next steps and work with the new energies that are coming onto the planet. So it's really like living skills right now. What is it that you need for your life right now to be doing differently to align and unfold into who you are? And they put it in such simple terms, Erica. that really allows us to be, to use that information. It's very user-friendly and practical in our day-to-day living. And it allows us all to be self-empowered, because clarity is power. And there's so much going on in the drama on the planet, and that's the illusion. And they help us to move out of that illusion very simply and just align into the truth and the other aspect of ourselves, because we have our humanness and we have our sacred nature. We've been living just our humanness, that third dimensional illusion, for lifetimes. And the Pleiadians actually bring in initiations that start aligning you into your sacred nature, so that we can begin to reconnect to our vastness and our unlimited potential. And the Pleiadians say there's nothing we have to change about our human selves to align to our sacred natures that are just beyond the veil. And they help us move through to that veil and realign naturally back to our multidimensionality. So, this is the process that's going on right now.
So were you really surprised when you saw the Pleiadian for the first time?
I was actually terrified. And I went through a process of those 2 months when I was bedridden with the energy, where I did not want to have that connection to the Pleiadians, and I did not want to know that truth. But the process and the experience was so intense and profound, I couldn't pretend it didn't happen. And there was a moment when I had the angels descend around me, around my bed. And I still feel emotional about that time, because it was such a beautiful, pure experience, a pure moment. But they said, the Pleiadians are part of the God consciousness state. You hold the God consciousness state within you. There is no separation within this universe. They are part of the collective God consciousness. And so it's time for you to really accept your heritage.
Yes, like we started to remember who we really are. And also we started to know the truth. We are all the one, and we are all connected to all that is. How long did it take for you to get used to new change from previous you to after the awakening?
Over the 2-month period, I came to adjust and go through the transition, because the beautiful part about this was, as I evolved into the love of myself, and that's what happened, I was really able to honor my human part and hold my human part with love and compassion for the first time ever, so that my human part was fortified by that love. And that's part of the transitional phase that the Pleiadians talk about. Part of the most important part of our mission here that we've all said yes to is to evolve and reconnect to the sacred part of ourselves, and at the same time change the relationship with our human part and come to a place of self-acceptance and self-love with that human part. That is what we're to do this lifetime. And the Pleiadians say we're going to be successful. It is going to happen in our lifetime. So that is very exciting. That is really glorious when you feel the actual potential that we each have. And I love the line the Pleiadians use. They say, you are who you've been waiting for. And it's like all along you've been waiting for yourself. And the Pleiadians kind of break down the illusions and the lies that we've been living with. Like, in order to become enlightened, we had to be perfect. But the Pleiadians say, as a human being, we're perfectly imperfect. It's impossible for us to attain perfection. We're not built that way as a human being. So they say, in order to be enlightened, you have to accept your imperfection. Now that is an exciting truth, because we can accept our imperfection. It means we stop struggling and trying to get it right, trying to do it perfectly in order to be loved, to be accepted. We just simply hold ourselves and accept and know we're going to continue making mistakes and just love that imperfection of our idiosyncrasies, of our vulnerabilities as a human being. And through the acceptance of our imperfection, the separation ends inside of us, the inner wall of self-judgment and self-condemnation. So that we just move naturally out of that separated state. And in that moment of acceptance, we start to align naturally back into the sacred that we are. And I just love that truth. And since, I was given that truth, I have evolved very fast into a state of really accepting and loving my humanness, understanding my vulnerabilities because I'm not pushing them away anymore. I'm just really embracing me in such a way. So I'm really holding myself with a lot of love. And that love goes outwards to humanity. Because when you end that separation, that war inside, you automatically connect to every individual out there in that God consciousness with that love. And if you think about it, every human being on this planet carries the God consciousness state. And we can connect with love to everybody. We can reach out and touch each person with that love. It doesn't have to come back because the love opens the door of our hearts. And that's where we connect to the sacred that we are, through the heart space. So it's a very beautiful journey.
Yes, it's amazing. I was recently told by my oversoul, 12th dimensional of the light. They told me how important it is to have an unconditional love to yourself and to others, which is like including every single beings.
But what's important, Erica, is not to force. It's not about forcing or trying. It's about ending the struggle and the suffering by just not trying to get it right. Because you're not going to get it right 100% of the time, because you have your humanness, that perfectly imperfect place within you. But moments of oneness with yourself changes every cell in your body. One moment a day of just holding yourself with that love and compassion transforms your cells. And every moment you do that, it's accumulative. So the cells gradually carry that frequency of oneness within you that then extends out to others. So it's a process of not perfection, because your ego mind always wants to just get it right, to do it right. But it's not going to happen that way. It's about one moment at a time, one breath at a time of receiving yourself in any given moment. And we can all do that. It is possible for each one of us to do that.
Yes, I was told this is not a college examination, so you don't have to be perfect.
I know, and our sacred nature, as we do that for one moment, something happens and the veil that is up between you and the sacredness starts to dissolve. And you start to move into moments of deeper blending with that higher self. It's a natural progression. It's not something you have to try or strive for. And we, for lifetimes, have had this idea that it's somehow we have to work really hard, but it's the opposite. We simply have to be and breathe with that conscious breath in and out the mouth. That's like, and that conscious breath says, yes, I'm willing to let go. And yes, I'm willing to receive my light. And just using that breath in and out the mouth bypasses the ego mind and moves you into a state connected to the heart space. And the heart space is your way home to the higher self.
So what is your advice to the people who are just started awakening or who are going through awakening process?
What I can say to everyone out there is You've all said yes to being here in this lifetime, to have this experience, whether you remember or not, it's immaterial. So you're not new. There are only old souls on the planet right now. And many of us are just having different experiences within our humanness. So understand that first, that you need to know that you've said yes to being here and you are an old soul. There's no new path and new people on the path. In your mind, it might be, I've only just started to move into my spiritual awakening. But you can move very fast, because things can happen very fast right now because of the way the energy is on the planet and the way you're being held and supported energetically by the spiritual realms, by the Pleiadians, by your own pre-agreements with certain life force group members within the universe. We've all come in with pre-agreement support teams, whether we are aware of it or not. So no, you're not alone. And you only simply have to touch your heart and use the conscious breath and bring your awareness here to say, yes, this is my heart. And you start to claim this, touching your heart and using the conscious breath, and the doorway just simply opens. It's a fluid space where you can rapidly reconnect to that higher self part of you. And so this is the time to understand that the ego mind connects you to the drama, limitation and lack and fear, and the heart links you into that unlimited, multidimensional higher self, which is waiting for you just beyond the veil and is supporting you daily anyway, whether you're aware of it or not. So it's about taking in those truths, reclaiming who you are within your heart, and breathing into that in a moment, if you can, even 1 moment a day, to link into that which you are on a multidimensional level. And it moves you out of the drama into the space of peace. Understanding that there's a lot of illusion here on the planet playing out right now, a lot of drama, and we can witness that drama but not be engaged in it, not to be drawn into it. You can witness this and hold your heart and feel the vastness and the peace and the stillness here that you are in reality. And the veils are so thin right now, we're being given tremendous opportunity and celebration being this way, just really coming home to ourselves.
What the most important thing do we need to do right now?
Well, as I said, it's about you choosing. It's about conscious choice. We have free will, each one of us. So you have to claim and choose to be present in the moment, to claim and choose consciously to live your day, of being open and letting go of that drama that is, and that illusion that seems so real sometimes. And fear is one of the biggest illusions on the planet. Understanding that we've been programmed to make fear a reason to stop ourselves moving forward on a path. It's like you might get an intuitive feeling, I need to do this. And then fear kicks in because the ego mind produces fear, always. And the fact is that you can change your response to fear. This is what I did. It was like when I had my awakening, it was like I knew I had to do things differently. I had to follow my path and my guidance no matter what. And that meant when the fear came up, it was a signal, not a red light to stop, but a green light to go. It meant the more fear I was feeling, the more excited I would become, knowing that there was a big change coming up for me and how right it was. And after a while, the fear stopped and I just moved into excitement with that energy because I didn't have it as a programmed negative feeling. It became a positive feeling for me. And so it's about understanding that fear, the mind will always produce fear when you move into some sort of change or some illogical step that the ego mind sees as a wrong move, because it might have something different in it, doing things differently. Any sort of changes from your routine, fear will come up. Anything that doesn't make sense to the logical ego mind. But our paths, our sacred paths, don't make sense. They're like a zigzag path. And you might feel like, okay, to get to my goal, I have to take a left turn here. And your intuition says, turn right. This is the way to go. And the path that we take that is moving us back to awakening and to abundance and to joy and moving out of that mold of that drama and the illusion isn't a comfortable path for the ego mind, but that's where we are being moved to really come home to ourselves, to a story, to a journey that our ego mind could never imagine. It always limits our potential. And the heart takes us into the vastness of the unexpected, unlimited potential that we carry within us, within our magical selves. So you're going on a magical journey when you follow your intuition. And as I said, at first the ego mind sends out those fear signals. So take a breath, witness the fear, don't push it away, breathe it and say, okay, I feel the fear here, but I'm taking this next step and we're going to be okay. And you talk and engage the ego mind. It's not your enemy. This is what is a very essential part of your awakening process. You can't make an enemy of your human ego. You need your ego to support you in organizing your life, making lists, but it can't run your life, and it has been. So it's about recognizing the ego mind's role in your life and making your ego mind very important in your life. It's like I spend a lot of time channeling. So when it comes to adding up figures or doing my taxes, I don't use a calculator. I let my mind have the role of adding the figures so it feels useful. And that way the ego mind still has roles and important roles in my life. So I've talked to it and I say, you know what, I'm going to need you tomorrow, but right now I need to do the channeling. And you need to know that we will be working with figures tomorrow. And I'm going to need you for that. And the ego mind feels then loved, supported, honored. But you can't create a separation within you because it stops the spiritual unfolding of yourself. So you must bring the human part of yourself along on your journey. And it can be part of your journey. It doesn't interfere if you honor it. And that's a very important piece for people out there to know and understand. That you've got to deal with all parts of yourself. Not, people just want the spiritual high, which is totally overrated. It's in the mundane moments, in the simple moments in life that you come into the biggest awakening and direct experience of connection with the vastness and love of your higher self. And don't try and reach for those spiritual high experiences. They may happen, but they are kind of meaningless, to be honest. And the ego's mind need to constantly understand everything is totally overrated. Because actually you don't need to understand anything. Because every time you need to understand, you break down the experience of the sacred that you are with the logic of the ego mind. So it's important to understand the dynamics of the process. And the Pleiadians bring all that information to individuals. And that's what I love. It's about us letting go and allowing ourselves to unfold. in the vastness of our own love, and it's us birthing ourselves. This is a self-birthing process, a self-resurrection process. And that's what I love about it. Me birthing me, you birthing you. And understanding we're each a unique divine aspect of the whole collective God consciousness energy. And what you carry, Erica, is needed in the universe. And what I carry is unique and needed in the universe. We're not in competition with each other. We're coming together to form the collective light that we are, the wholeness of the God light between us.
Definitely.
And that's important.
Yeah, we all came here for the peace on Earth and also peace for our galaxy as well. So we're so happy to be together.
And one is not more than another. So it's about honoring each individual and understanding each human being out there on the street that you pass in the day, that you interact with, carries that link of God consciousness within them. Whether they're aware of it or not, it exists. So that when you, or when I meet an individual and I've got my heart wide open and I just receive each person with the love, with my love, and that allows whatever's in them to open. And they, in that moment, receive something. It's not about me pushing my energy on people. It's about me just being and letting go in that moment. And really consciously loving that individual because I can see their gold and their light around them, whether they're connected or not to it consciously, it exists. And it's honoring that they are.
You said every one of us has those light carried with us. So, those people who are not perfectly connected with who they are and maybe doing something not healthy things to Earth or humanity, are they also having the light, and how can we send a love to them?
We can send it just by honoring that they are playing out their suffering. And they need that love. Because inside they're suffering deeply within their own hearts. Because they're separated.
Does it extend to the service to self being as well? That's what I have feeling too, but I just want to know.
That's the universal principles. When we open up to others, we automatically become more ourselves, always. So when I'm working with a group of huge number of people, maybe in an audience, simultaneously I'm with me and I'm receiving all the time. And it's through the connection to myself that I can transmit that out to everyone in the audience. So that is exactly how it happens. The beauty of that love extending from my heart outwards, but coming right back to me as well. Right. Remember, as we extend to others, they're an extension of who we are. So nothing but love comes back to us.
So again, it's about unconditional love.
It really comes down to love or fear. And we can let go of the struggle and the suffering at any time, whenever we're ready.
Awesome. Could you tell us about your upcoming activity, how we can join your workshop or anything you can tell us?
Well, I have my blog talk radio show twice a month. I also, we have upcoming seminars on our land in Grand Marais this summer in 2019. We have seminars going on through Europe and through South America, through March and into August, September. There's also seminars here in the United States for those who wish to come. We have online programs also. So if you look ChristineDayOnline.com, you'll see all the events. There's free events. There's a free broadcast every second month on the website, which gives you a full experience of that transmission from the Pleiadians, which is wonderful. So you can see everything that's happening. We have, of course, products in the store too with all the Pleiadian light initiations. So we have some free material and we have some things that you can pay for and come and be in live seminars. So it's ChristineDayOnline.com.
Awesome. And you have 3 big books published, right? And
Yes.
I read on Amazon, some people are saying you can download the audio, which is not true. You can, even with the ebooks. So can you just tell us like which one people can start with your book?
You're best starting, if you're fairly new to the path, you would want to start with the first book. But if you're not, if you're full, really been in the process of unfolding in yourself for a while, I would start with the third book, and it has 13 audio files. So you read a chapter and then you listen to the channeled audio file with that chapter and go into an unfolding. You have a direct experience of transformation, and that's got all the latest. It's also got a lot of the latest energies on the planet, and it's also it's multidimensional. So it has many different dimensional settings where you can go from one experience and listen to it again and have a very different experience. And as you grow, you align to the higher frequencies held on the audio frequencies. So they're very amazing, the audio files.
Yes, they are. So third book is Pleiadian Promise. And what was your first book?
Pleiadian Initiations of Light. And that talks about my life story and my unfolding, my awakening. And then it just really gives you 12 chapters with an audio file for each one, moving you into that alignment to the heart space where your higher self exists, and letting you just really birth into that and really guiding you step by step through the Pleiadian initiations so beautifully. The Pleiadians just do it. They bring in the alignments so beautifully for humanity. So it's very user-friendly and really profound, actually.
Yes. And I believe once you started working with them through the book, they will work with you while you're sleeping.
That's true. And once you will start aligning with the audio files and the books, they're also committed to working with you in your day-to-day work. If you want to call them forward, you have to give them permission to come in, but they will, many people are working directly with the Pleiadians now through working with the books. So it's really divine economy, I say.
Yes. Thank you so much for the interview for Awakening TV.
Thank you, Erica. It's lovely to connect with you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
So blessings.
Thank you.